If you're a gun owner in Wyoming's 18th Senate District, and you're asking yourself right now, the primary's coming up, I got 4 people who are trying to get my support. Who's the pro-gun candidate? If you're asking yourself that question, guys, you're in luck. My name is Aaron Dorr with Wyoming Gun Owners, and we have an update for you on where the 4 candidates stand in this race. We're talking about this area here, guys, of Park County. Hank Coe's old seat. He's retiring. Park County, probably the most beautiful county on the planet. A great place to be from and a great place for gun owners to have pro-gun representation, hopefully, in Wyoming for the next 4 years. As I mentioned, we have 4 candidates who are seeking the nomination. Let me make sure my camera's turned over here to the side so you can see that all the way over there. There we go. 4 candidates who are vying for the support of gun owners in this race. First, we have the good news. You got Tim French. Tim French surveyed 100% pro-gun with WIGO. He opposed every single part of the gun control agenda we asked him about. I mean everything. Red flags, gun registration, AR-15 bans, fixed NICS, waiting periods, all of it. He opposed all of it. He also said he was going to sponsor pro-gun bills. He'd be a leader in the fight for gun rights. That's important in a day and age when so many Republicans are so weak and so timid and so scared in Cheyenne. So Tim French, 100% pro-gun on his survey, opposes all the gun control bills. But there's more than just his word. See, for a long time, Tim French, as most of you guys know, served as a Park County commissioner. And in that time as a commissioner, Tim French made a name for himself as somebody who would fight for the causes that he cared about. And of course, this spans a lot of issues, not just guns. But when Tim French says he'll fight for a cause, you could take that to the bank because everybody in Park County already experienced that when Tim French served as a county commissioner. So we have the survey, we have his promises, and it's backed up by his previous deeds as a commissioner. A very potent punch there for two-way freedom from Tim French. You got Stephanie Bell. And basically, no one knows anything about Stephanie Bell. She refused our candidate survey, always a bad sign. Won't tell us where she stands on any of these issues. None of them. Every time a candidate hides their views or tries to hide their views, it's a warning sign to gun owners. Be very careful with that. We got Richard Jones. Now, Richard Jones surveyed pro-gun with WIGO, and we're going to give credit where it's due. But Richard is well known to insiders and folks that we have talked to in this area as being a rather moderate individual in his political leanings. As recently as the party convention just a couple of weeks ago, supporting very moderate policy platform positions that frankly don't seem to jive or comport with a pro-gun survey. And so I'm not going to sit here and say he's being insincere, but people are definitely asking the question, how can he be so moderate in all these areas in the way he acts and then survey properly with WIGO? I'm going to leave that to you guys to decide, but be aware there's an issue or a question about sincerity here with Richard Jones. And that brings us finally to David Northrup. Now, we know some things about David Northrup. First of all, he loves doing green screen photographs because, folks, this is not a real picture. This is an absolute green screen photograph. It's quite beautiful because it was airbrushed and made to look that way. But besides that, besides his love for fake photographs, we know that David Northrup has a history of opposing your gun rights, of wanting to increase or add gun control to the books here in Wyoming. We know that because on February 1st, 2017, David Northrup, as a state rep, voted yes on House Bill 136. This was our campus carry legislation that would allow, we're talking about adults here, not discussing Johnny in kindergarten, talking about adults, faculty, staff, adult students, those who can carry firearms who currently can't on campus because of our gun-free policies. They would have a fighting chance if a madman came onto a campus, God forbid, here in Wyoming, bent on doing harm. This bill would have allowed them to fight back. But David Northrup sided with the radical lefties and the weak-kneed moderates that we have in Cheyenne on February 1st, 2017, when he opposed this bill. Terrible stuff. We also have a situation here where David Northrup has refused to sign his survey with WIGO this year. And frankly, that's not a surprise because 2 years ago, in 2018, David surveyed with WIGO, and he said he wants to mandate waiting periods on law-abiding gun owners here in Wyoming before you can buy a firearm. I reached out to David, spoke with him at length about this issue, and I said, was that a typo? Did you actually mean that? So because it's not constitutional. Our Constitution never says shall not be infringed after 72 hours. So did you mean that, or was that a typo? And David Northrup doubled down. And he believes that nobody should buy a firearm or have the right to buy a firearm unless you've waited 3 days. So if you're a young woman over 21 years of age or above who is being stalked by a psycho here in Wyoming, and that's happened before, and you want to buy a gun for self-defense, David Northrup, he says no. If you live in Cheyenne or one of the cities and you have a growing problem, as we all have right now, with Antifa or Black Lives Matter thugs rioting or causing problems like we're seeing them do all across the country, burning businesses, destroying people's livelihoods, shooting at cops, and you think to yourself, you know what, this is getting crazy. I want to buy a handgun or a shotgun or a rifle. But you go to buy one and you find out, if David Northrup has his way, that you can't buy a gun for 3 days. Imagine the absurdity of this. No criminal is going to be bound by this law. No criminal ever cares or obeys society's gun laws. That's why we call them criminals. The only people that David Northrup could actually impact with this would be people like you, people like me, law-abiding gun owners. So think about that. Opposed to campus carry, he's opposed to you buying a gun unless you go through a waiting period, refuses to sign his survey. The dude is moderate as heck, as moderate as they come, and everybody in Cheyenne knows that. David Northrup hopes that you don't find out. And that's why, guys, if you're a voter in this area, Park County, this beautiful portion here of the extreme north corner here, northwest corner of Wyoming, you've got to help us get the word out. We've done all the research for you. You have the dates, the bill numbers, the names, all of it. Share this video in your social media platforms, in your local GOP organizations, your local Democrat organizations. We don't care. Help us get the word out so that gun owners know that you've got 4 choices in this primary. One candidate surveyed pro-gun and has a record to back up his pro-gun position. That's Tim French. One candidate won't say where she stands. Bad sign. One candidate says he's pro-gun, but it's doesn't follow with his actions as a political activist so far. And one candidate likes to have airbrushed photos of himself and has a history of opposing your right to keep and bear arms here in Wyoming. Get the word out, guys. Help us inform all the voters that we can. And if you haven't yet joined WIGO, help us get this word out there. Go to joinwygo.com. Thanks.